What if the Bible you trusted your entire life is not the full story? Not accidentally incomplete, but deliberately reduced.
The Book of Enoch, Chapter 91. After journeying through the heavenly realm and returning to earth, Enoch is preparing to be taken back up into the heavens once again.
High in the mountains of Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has preserved something most of the world never saw: an ancient 81-book Bible with a different structure entirely. Inside it are texts filled with visions of layered heavens and descriptions of Jesus that do not fit the familiar version. For centuries, seers and prophets have claimed to see the future, to receive messages from across time and space. Now, as Mel Gibson, the director behind The Passion of the Christ, moves forward with a long-awaited sequel about the resurrection, he has stumbled onto something buried in those very texts. What he uncovered about Jesus is not small. It threatens to change everything you thought you knew about him. Mel Gibson started with a problem. While preparing his next film, he began digging into early Christian material most people never read, not out of curiosity, but because the standard version of the resurrection felt incomplete. The deeper he went, the clearer the feeling became. There were parts missing, entire sections of the story that existed in some places and not in others. And that trail does not lead to Rome. It leads somewhere most people never think to look. In the book of Acts, there is a moment easy to overlook, but it changes how the entire story begins. A powerful Ethiopian official travels alone on a desert road. He serves under the Kandake, the queen of the Aksumite kingdom. Kandake is not a name, it is a title like Pharaoh or Caesar. This man holds real authority, yet he sits in a moving chariot, reading from a scroll of Isaiah, trying to understand it. One of the earliest recorded people to receive the Christian message is a high-ranking official from Ethiopia. From the beginning, before councils, before debates over which books stay or go, Ethiopia is already inside the story. Today, the Protestant Bible has 66 books. The Catholic Bible has 73. Some Eastern Orthodox traditions include even more. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church recognizes 81 books, 15 additional texts. So the question becomes unavoidable. If Ethiopia was there from the beginning and still holds a larger version of the story, why were most people given the shorter one? Move forward a few centuries. In the 4th century, King Ezana of Aksum officially converts his empire to Christianity. Around the same time, Emperor Constantine does the same in Rome. Two powerful empires, same century, same faith. But they do not end up with the same Bible. Ethiopia preserves books most people have never heard of: 1st Enoch, Jubilees, the Ascension of Isaiah, the Shepherd of Hermas, Ethiopian Maccabees, and others. These texts do more than expand familiar stories. They change how the entire system works. Then there is the origin of evil. Most people grow up with a simple version from Genesis. A serpent speaks to Eve, she disobeys, and sin enters the world. But in Ethiopian tradition, especially in Enoch, evil arrives in a more organized way. Specific beings called Watchers come down to earth on purpose. Their names are given: Semyaza, Azazel, and others. They agree to leave their assigned place in heaven and enter the human world, even though they are forbidden to do so. Their goal is clear: live among humans, take human wives, and share knowledge never meant for people. They do not come empty-handed. One teaches humans how to make weapons: swords, knives, shields, armor. Warfare, in this telling, is not something humanity slowly discovers. It is introduced. Others teach metalworking, the manipulation of materials, and techniques to alter appearances, feeding vanity and comparison. Innocence is taken. The boundary between heaven and earth, once clear, is breached. Violence spreads quickly. Corruption does not stay contained. This is why these books survive. Ethiopia was protected by more than distance. Deserts, mountains, and unstable trade routes made it difficult for outside powers, especially Rome and its church authorities, to reach and control what was happening there. Some memorized entire books word for word, so that even if manuscripts were destroyed, the text lived on in their minds. Others wrapped manuscripts in cloth, climbed narrow cliff paths with nothing but a rope, risking death to hide texts in places no army could reach. One hidden book is still quoted in the Bibles most people own. Near the end of the New Testament, in Jude 1:14-15, you read, "Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment." This is not a random phrase. It is taken directly from 1 Enoch 1, a passage describing God arriving with countless heavenly beings to judge the world and expose wrongdoing. So a book absent from most modern Bibles is still quoted inside them. The question becomes unavoidable. How can a text be important enough to quote as scripture, but not important enough to include? In Genesis, Enoch appears briefly. He walked with God, and then God took him. No detail. No explanation. 1 Enoch fills this silence. Genesis describes the flood as a response to general wickedness. Enoch describes it as a targeted response. The Nephilim are the problem. The flood is the reset. Enoch also portrays Azazel, a leading watcher, being seized, bound, and cast into darkness to await judgment. A scene that echoes the binding of Satan in Revelation. Since Enoch predates the New Testament, scholars ask, how much of what appears later builds on ideas from texts that were later removed? Then another text goes even further, the Ascension of Isaiah. It does not begin with a birth, it begins with an execution. Isaiah is forced into a hollow tree and cut in half because he proclaimed a dangerous vision. He saw a figure descend from heaven, pass through unseen realms, and enter the human world. That claim suggested that the power ruling the world was not ultimate, that something greater could move through its territory without being detected. To those in power, that was intolerable.